Hello everyone. So I am back to do an addition to the scenario prompt that I did with Haru before. One was added by Sarah, and I decided to go ahead and answer it with Haru for again because since I picked her for the first one, I had to give this one way more thought than I thought I would. But I think I've come up with the answer for her, like, based on her character. So, Haru, just in case you don't know, she's a Kendo Koko Rosita head on a dog's own 62 centimeter body, and she is one of my human characters. She is not, and um, she's actually Elia, my Decadal Lola. She is her girlfriend, and she's actually not one of the street kid characters I have now. The street kids, just to real quick explain that, are these group of kids that they're kind of like the Lost Boys. They live with this guy named Reslin, who is kind of I want to say like Peter Pan, but though it's kind of funny because he used to be a pirate. He's a vampire. He used to be a pirate, so he's kind of like Captain Hook. So I kind of find it funny. But anyway, so she's actually not with that group. She actually her and her mom live in a nice-ish area and nice-ish apartment, and they're trying to get their lives back together. But they still have some issues from when her stepfather was in their lives. And she is very sensitive, and I don't want to call her necessarily broken, but she definitely has some things she has to work through at some point. And in the addition to the scenario prompt was if your character is driving along in a car and they hit a dog, and what would their response be? What would they do? And I believe in this scenario that the dog was like severely injured. I'm trying to remember. I watched this at work, so it's a little. I think that was part of it. And knowing her, first of all, she would just freak out. And I mean the whole scenario. Like, she would just start crying, screaming, like she'd be hysterical for a long bit. I mean, not like she wouldn't sit there hysterical for like a half hour, but like for a few minutes there she would just freak out. She would pull to the side of the road immediately, and she would just panic, absolutely panic. And she would definitely, I mean, probably in this scenario, the best thing would probably be to call or figure out what to do, what would be best to do. But she, in this situation, she would be just panicking so hard she would uh, you know pick up the dog, probably in, if she had like anything in her trunk, like a blanket or anything like that, to wrap it in, she would. If not, then she would more than likely, and this will sound weird, but she would more than likely, because she was just afraid of making things worse for her, and she just would want to be comfortable, she would probably take off something she was wearing and wrap it around the dog if she didn't have anything in the car. And then she would put the dog in her car and drive to wherever the nearest place she could find to help this dog. And she wouldn't really give too much thought about like not moving the dog if it makes it worse or anything like that. She would just be like, I have to get this dog help. I have to get this dog help immediately. And she would just be berating herself over it, and it'd be like bad all around, like in every way. Um, and she would go to the nearest vet, which she actually knows where those are because she actually really likes pets. She just can't have any because of her mom's allergies. So, and that's fine, that's fine, things like that. So she actually has volunteered at a couple, and she also just has went with her friends to the vet and sometimes to pet stores and things like that. So she would try to figure out the best place to take this dog. And that's what she would do in that situation. She would panic, she would cry, berate herself, rescue the dog best she could, and hope it lived. Now, if the dog ended up living, she wouldn't be able to take it in. But she would definitely, because because Elia would not have a problem with this, she would definitely plead and beg Elia to please take the dog to Reslin's, and so she could keep watch over it, and that the dog wasn't alone and things like that. She would also she would put up flyers to see who the dog belonged to and just things like that. She would definitely, though, not leave that dog alone. She would stay at the vet, and hope for the best. And in the scenario the dog didn't pull through, she would have like an honest funeral for that dog. I mean, she couldn't, go all out money wise because she just doesn't have money like that. But she would definitely get her friends together who would definitely help her in this time and have some sort of memorial thing for it. If you've ever watched The Office, there's this episode where a bird dies and Michael, the boss, is going through some things, and they actually have a bird funeral for this just random bird, and like everyone participates in it, and that it pretty much be exactly like that scene almost. Like it just would be that it would be a to do. But if the dog did live, she would plead for Elia to take the dog in until the dog was better, and she would visit every day for like hours, and she would try to find an owner. And if she never did, she would her and Elia would just keep the dog. I mean, it just would. And she would just visit every day and whatnot. I mean, she's over there every day anyway. And yeah. So that's what I thought of for her. Now, I am actually going to do one more video with my two of my boys and answer all three scenarios with them. So, yeah, that is it for Haru and her sad little self. And I will talk to you later. Bye.